Yo, this is such an amazing example of fake news. Okay, this video was about Caroline Leavitt flexing about the report about how great the economy is doing in 52 days. But before that, let me show you this.
So I'll put up his approval rating on the economy, according to a new CNN poll, 56%. A majority of the public disapproves of his handling of the economy so far. By the way, that's worse than at any point during his first term in office. That's a surprising number, Jake.
Yeah, listen, there's not much criticism. I think people don't know what he's doing. I don't have to think. I mean, most people say they don't know what he's doing.
Yo, as soon as Trumpito received a pre-quarterly report on the American economy, he immediately sent Carolyn Levitt out front to brag about it. Despite the naysayers, inflation is down the most it's been in 4 years, and that's just in 52 days. She bragged about how airline tickets are cheaper, gas is cheaper. We got a $1 billion investment from aerospace. Some type of Japanese company is moving here to Wisconsin to avoid tariffs. She said, yes, we're still doing the federal budget cut. Yes, the Department of Education is next. But as you can see, everything Trumpito said he's gonna do, he's been doing it. Well, she didn't say that, but she said something like that, and she was like, "The Ukrainians even signed a peace treaty or the ceasefire with Putin, and everything that he's been saying is he's been doing it for the American people." But even after all that, do you know that a CNN reporter still tried to hate on Trumpito? But she calmly just pushed her blonde hair behind her ear and smacked the CNN anchor right in his mouth with the truth. She smacked him with the truth. Yo, my name is Marcus Russell. This is the Marcus Russell Show. Let's get right to it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Thank you.
How are you?
Day.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't the sunshine feel so good?
Yeah.
A couple of things I want to point out. Great economic news this morning, despite all of the naysayers in the media and also all of the so-called experts. The CPI index report came out this morning, and inflation is down. In fact, core inflation is down to the lowest level it has been in 4 years. This is just in 52 days of President Trump taking office. We saw airline fares fell. We saw the cost of gasoline is down as well. We also saw a $1 billion investment this morning from GE Aerospace. We saw Asahi, the Japanese beer company, announce that they're going to move manufacturing and investments to the great state of Wisconsin in response to President Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum, which you all know went into effect last night. So
Yeah, 25% on steel and aluminum kind of make you want to come over here and get your and they try to say he's not a good businessman.
this is all good news for the American people, and it also shows that you can effectively utilize tariffs to bolster your industries here at home while driving down the cost of living for the American public through deregulation and through energy. And we know President Trump is intent on passing his big tax cuts later this year. We're calling on Congress to do it. We also had a big win on Capitol Hill last night. As I talked to you all in the briefing yesterday, the president strongly supported the continuing resolution. He continues to support the continuing resolution. Now the ball is in Senate Democrats' court. Do they want to shut down the government, or do they want to keep it open and funded for the American people who need this government to continue to continue building on the momentum President Trump has created?
Yeah, Democrats, stop pointing fingers and come on, let's do this bipartisan thing that y'all always was crying about.
Up to them. We'll see what they do. We hope that everybody on the Senate side will help to pass this bill.
That part.
So we can continue doing the business of the American people. I'll take a couple questions.
Sure.
Caroline, is it a sense that the market and business leaders are not understanding what the president is trying to do, or that they don't like what the president is doing? How do you explain the stock market?
Well, I think I talked about this yesterday, and I think the president, the president has also addressed the stock market yesterday. It's a snapshot of a moment in time, and we expect there will be good days and there will be bad days, but ultimately Wall Street and Main Street are going to benefit from this president's policies as they did in his first term.
And your reaction on Canada?
Department of Education,
Sure.
with layoffs of 50%. Can you confirm that critical services won't be cut? For instance, reassuring American families with kids with disabilities that their programs will not be cut?
Yes, the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, who's doing a tremendous job, by the way, has assured the American people of that. And these cuts are a promise made and a promise kept. There is no reason that we should be spending more than most developed countries in the world, and our education system is failing.
There's no
If you look
excuse.
at our nation's report card, Eighth graders are not reading at the rate that they should. Fourth graders are not learning math at the rate that they should. And so we have a problem with our education system. Nobody disagrees with that, but a lot of people seem to disagree with actually doing something about it and changing the status quo. So the president wants to return education back to the states, empower those closest to the people to make these very important decisions for our children's lives, and this is a first step in that process.
Caroline, it seems that President Trump has put the onus on Russia to engage in the ceasefire. If that ceasefire is broken, is there any type of enforcement mechanism in place that President
If
Trump
it's broken,
on Russia if they break that ceasefire?
Well, that's obviously a grand hypothetical question.
You're just
that
thinking
I
negative.
won't, comment on because we're not there yet.
Right.
The current state of play is that
We're
the
winning
Ukrainians
now.
have agreed to a ceasefire. The Ukrainians have agreed to the peace plan that was put on the table yesterday in Saudi Arabia by the Secretary of State and our National Security Advisor, whom I just spoke with before coming out here, and he informed me that he has had a call today with his Russian counterpart, and the president's team continues to be engaged. As you all know, Mr. Witkoff is traveling to Moscow later this week, and we urge the Russians to sign on to this plan. This is the closest we have been to peace in this war. We are at the 10th yard line, and the president is expecting the Russians to help us run this into the end zone.
Would President Trump call President Putin and encourage him to engage in the ceasefire?
Would he do what?
Readout on the president's
Are you
calls,
crazy,
but as the
dude?
president always does, if that call happens, he will let you guys know.
Caroline, on the CHIPS Act, the president has called for a full repeal on it, but it appears that the Senate GOP is looking for more reform on that. Is this
She's
something
like
you
a
already know?
gaggle mouth anchor.
I think the president's made his position on that quite clear.
The NATO Secretary General will be here tomorrow.
Yes.
What is the president hoping to get out of that meeting? What are his asks of the new Secretary General?
Yes, he will be here tomorrow, and I suspect the president will provide guidance on that meeting after it takes place. But I'm quite confident, as he always does when it comes to NATO, he will urge the NATO secretary the president's belief that NATO countries need to pay their fair share for their own defense. We have been spending billions and billions of dollars on NATO, which the president agrees with, so long as other countries are paying their fair share.
Yeah, we don't want to be the only ones, man.
His commitment, like what he expects from the European countries, 5% of GDP for defense.
Last time I spoke with him, that was his commitment. Yes. Christian, go ahead.
Thank you. Does the president have any response to the ICC arrest of Rodrigo Duterte, the former Philippine president?
I have not spoken to him about that, but I can and get back to you.
Well, separate question then. There's this March 13th deadline for departments to submit their agency reduction plans. Can you give us an update on that? Is there any foot dragging from any places within the federal government? And when do you expect these cuts to go into place?
Everybody is working together as
This
one
is the
team.
dude right
This
here.
is a goal that every cabinet secretary across the board agrees with. We have to reduce our workforce. We have to make our bureaucracy more efficient. And then when the March 13th deadline hits, we can talk about that.
On the economy, you mentioned yesterday that this is a transition period. How does the White House measure this in terms of when can you not blame it on former President Biden, and when does it fully become President Trump's responsibility?
Well, we've only been here for 52 days.
That
but
part.
Certainly the president is working hard every day to, again, bring down the cost of living, which we see is already happening. You see the cost of eggs is going down, cost of gasoline is going
That
down.
part.
Because of the massive deregulatory efforts of this president, and also the fact that we are delivering on his promise to drill, baby, drill already. You saw this past weekend, the National Economic Advisory put out a report that because of the regulations we've already slashed in just 52 days, we've saved American taxpayers $180 billion. That comes out to about $2,000
Per
American
person.
household.
Now check it out. See, that was the exchange right there that I was talking about between Carol Levin and two Associated Press reporters. One of them name is Josh Black Boak. I didn't get to catch the chick's name. They kept saying how Trump had previously been campaigning on tax cuts, but now he's focusing on tariffs, and now the tariffs are going to be a tax hike, is what she said. But before he can even finish, you see Carolyn Levitt was like, "Look, shut up." He didn't even say that. So, and then he even continued, but I didn't get it on here, but he continued with, "I'm just curious why he's prioritized the tariffs over the tax cuts." But man, it's like, I swear, let me let her finish.
That's in 52 days. So the president is working
Right.
diligently, and he's working
This
hard
has
on this
been
every
2
single
months.
day. And we
Come
need
on.
Congress to also help. We need Congress to pass a tax
Jesus.
cuts, which the president campaigned on and the vast majority of the American people support. And as you all know, the president met with business leaders last night at the Business Roundtable, and he said to them in the room, you know, some of you may be Democrats, but that's fine, but we need to get Senate Democrats and House Democrats on
Come on
board with this
in.
tax bill, because working America supports tax cuts. The American people, CEOs, small business owners, and workers all want more money in their pockets, and
Facts.
we expect all people on Capitol Hill, Republican or Democrat, to get on board with that, because it's a wildly popular.
Karoline, can you say
Thanks,
What
guys.
she said. Yo, what does a guy have to do to get some presidential respect in this country? Jesus Christ. First, left wing media news lying, talking about how much disapproval rate is by recent reports. Look, CNN, who is doing these reports? Where are you getting these reports from, you filthy naysayers? And then, secondly, then you expect this man to fix the 4 years worth of malarkey in 52 days. Well, guess what? Malarkey fixed. You know what I'm saying? Fix America right on up. Got her to stop sneaking around, sponsoring coups over governments and gay music festivals on us behind our backs. Got her charging more for our friendship to the point to where countries are moving abroad to avoid the tariffs. Immigration is down. Stop World War III, all while smiting his enemies. I imagine if Trumpito literally levitated over the White House, they would probably crucify him for being the savior that he has become to America. Okay, yo, did I did I go too far with the crucify stuff? I don't know, but tell me what you think in the comments. My name is Marcus Russell. This is the Marcus Russell Show. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, peace.